All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me. We continue on with the short conference soccer previews today. I have Coach Wes Moore from Manchester Township. Coach, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Getting right into it. When did you start coaching? And what drew you to coaching soccer?
I started at the high school, coaching at the high school level, 2005. So when I got to Manchester, I was coaching in the youth world and doing some training prior to that. I played my whole life, loved the game, coached the high school level. I have 3 kids, coach their youth teams, club teams, and awesome game, great game.
Yeah, I know I said it the last soccer interview I did. I got my dad made me get my coaching license when I was 15. It was a trainer license until you're 18, but because I didn't enjoy playing soccer as much, but I loved the game. I studied the game, analyze it, and to me, it's my favorite sport watching. I know I cover a lot more basketball, but it's easier to get to more basketball games than soccer games during the high school season. But soccer is my passion. So I agree with you there. So you started at Manchester in 2005?
Yes, sir.
So you're a teacher there too as well?
I am.
What do you teach?
I got history. I got upper class history. US
wow.
1, US 2.
Different than your normal health and phys ed I get from coaches. That's good. History was my American history. I enjoy that. I like to ask the coaches this. You find a lot of similarities in coaching and teaching?
Yes, I do. I think they kind of play off of each other. I think, so much of the classroom is management and just being able to wear different hats, from teacher to coach to psychologist to friend to, just a shoulder, so a lot of similarities between the two. So I think one makes me better at the other.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, the previous interviews, I said, I always responded well to my teachers who were also coaches for some reason. Since you've been at Manchester, 15 years now, coaching, what are some accomplishments in the past, that the soccer team has had?
When I took over the girls in 2010, I was with the boys from 05 to 09. And the assistant over there with John Musoff and Brian Slota. I took over the girls program. My first year, we had like 16 seniors. And then we were fighting the numbers game after recovering from 16 seniors. So, a lot of up and downs in Manchester. We get in our waves of bigger classes, which helps the, progress the programs. But, we've had, we've been able to build, a pretty respectable program in the division, and we're able to peak every couple of years. I mean, we have a 16-win season, making a run into the semis in the state section, upsetting a couple teams. We're 4 years away from winning the school's first, B South championship in girls soccer. So we've kind of had a good run here so far. I got 2 great assistants, Vicky Trapp and Casey O'Connor, and we really like what we're doing. The kids are great here.
Yeah, more. When I interviewed Morgan, beginning of the pandemic, she brought up Casey, and that she works with Casey a lot, and she had good things to say about her.
Helps to have a goalkeeper coach.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Now, I lost my train of thought. What are some of the players, in the past that meant a lot to you, a lot to the program?
Yeah, I've got a handful that have kind of just kind of stayed with me in a soccer sense. That my early stint. I mean, I was with boys for forever, and then coming over to the girls' side is a definitely a different animal and a new hat to wear. But early on, I had some good leadership from, Samantha Gladys was an awesome center back for me. And then I had, two that came in, like my first true freshman that came all the way through, Sydney Kaufman, who played at Ramapo, and Olivia Summerisky. They were just great program kids that, really kind of helped put it all together, and be loyal and tough kids. And then when we started to really get some more soccer players in, the Lyric Greens, Anicia Fucci, she was an amazing player, fantastic kid to coach. She had a great run in Georgian Court with Jim Moore. And then the Julia Giacones, who went on to play, and probably our most decorated, Aaliyah Moore, who scored 100 plus points in high school and moved on into to play at Monmouth, and she's having a good run up the Parkway a little bit there. So I've had a good group of kids every single year, that just good family kids and love to be a part of the program.
That's great. Now, how is Manchester's youth program? I'm not too familiar. Do they have a strong soccer youth program, or is it come in waves? Because you said basically comes in waves with Manchester with the soccer.
They have a program. It's kind of changed from LMSA to MSA. The numbers in town, like you said, they definitely come in waves. I think a lot of the players that I have, that I mentioned, played club ball outside of town, some PDA, some Cedar Stars, some, Aaliyah was on a DA team at one point, so a lot of TRFC kids, the program, the town program is, they're trying, they try every year. I get more and more kids that played in town, which is awesome.
And, even talking to Coach Caruso, it seems like public schools, it seems like, it's like a roller coaster. It comes in waves. You guys will peak, and, a little down, a couple down years, and then you peak again. It's just weird. And, I think a lot has to do, with academy soccer, some were letting them play, not letting them play, now it seems like most of the girls are allowed to play. For the high school teams, which I think is great, because there's nothing like playing high school sports, with your friends.
Absolutely. The DAs are gone, so those kids are back.
Yeah, it should be, exciting season, this year with, I hear, a bunch of teams are getting players back this season from, the development academy. Talk a little about last season. Like you said, you only had 4 seniors, right? Is that right? 4 seniors. Now, I find that, public school, you don't see that too often, in public schools where, where you only get a couple seniors when it comes to soccer. I had Steve Fentz on yesterday. We were talking football, and he said he only had 4 seniors. And I never heard of that for football, only 4 seniors. Now I know he's in a super small school, but only 4 seniors. So, which is a good sign, for the next this season coming up. But, who were a couple of seniors last year that, meant a lot, that showed, leadership roles that, taught, that the underclassmen looked up to?
Absolutely. First of all, Steve Fentz, a Manchester guy. Awesome, yeah. Awesome guy.
I've known Steve for a long time.
Yep, Steve's he's a legend. I had a good group. Kayla Baca, Carly Polchak, Crystal Sears, Nikki Rasmussen. It was a great group of seniors that we had. I mean, two were moved on to play, 3 moved on to play at the college level, and it was good because 3 of the 4 paid their dues all the way through. They were outside of Carly, who was a goalkeeper, outstanding goalkeeper. She was right in the mix as a freshman, splitting time at the varsity level. But the other 3, they were like the homegrown. They battled at the JV level. They spent 2 or 3 years there. So they didn't step right in and get right up to the the varsity accolades in the newspaper. And so having them was good for the younger kids to see, because they show that that they're hard work does pay off. Give them a little bit more street cred, at practices, and it was a good mix of quiet leaders, vocal leaders, lead by example type. So although it was only 4, that'll be it's a missed group that I have this year.
What were some and it was a tough season record-wise, but you guys made states. What were some accomplishments that you guys hit? Any goals you set at the beginning of the year or last year?
Well, we did have a goal, knowing that it was going to be a tough year. We did have the goal to make it to states, and knowing the competition that we play, if we can get there, I'm like a poker player. Take a chip and a seat. That's all you need. And if you can make it into that South Jersey Group 2 bracket, I feel like the competition that we have, we have a chance. And being that we were pretty strong 2 years prior, and the scheduling goes on a 2-year cycle, that group last year with a lot of inexperience played a pretty tough schedule. So if we could get in, I thought that we could hang, and we went and we played Haddonfield pretty tough. So that was a big goal for them, knowing that no one would know who they were, who that group was.
Yeah, it's good. Good for you underclassmen. Getting that's one state games experience for this season coming up. I mean, if not, hopefully there's some sort of state group play, which I'm here. Hopefully something. Who knows? But going into this season, who are players you expect to step up into that leadership role that the seniors left?
Yeah, from a leadership standpoint, I think we have a good mix of your vocal leaders, your quiet leaders, and your just doers. Morgan Brussman, who's going to be a keeper for us this year, the keeper. She last year was a field player. Very selfless kid, goalkeeper, but has always played the field just in case. She was behind Carly. So she was going to be one of my starting center midfielders. Carly broke her pinky. Morgan stepped in, and she was awesome.
It's good to have
a very good goalkeeper.
And she's a versatile, if you do need her on the field. I watched her play on the field. You don't see that often with, kids that are trained as goalies. She handles herself very well on the field too. So it's nice to have that little versatility there too.
And I personally think she'll be one of the better keepers in the Shore. She's I don't know that we'll get the love in B South, but she's technically sound. I don't know if you'll find too many that are better than her in goal. Rachel Morris is coming back. She's going to be like a three-year all-division kid, center midfielder. She strikes the ball well. She's already on the record board here at Manchester in assists, and I think she's going to, she wants to add some more goals to that. And then I have a group of defenders who are under the radar kids, but Bree Battiato and Elizabeth Oliver, Kayla Jarolowitz, Sammy Gravatt, those are, kids that are, I think going to be the, a rock for our team, because I think defensively we're going to be very good, and they are strong, been around. I mean, I don't know if there's more experience than the, 6 names that I just gave. A lot of starts between Morgan, Rachel, Bree, Liz, Sammy, Kayla. I mean, that's probably a couple hundred games of varsity soccer between them.
Yeah, that's how, struggle a couple of years with them playing as underclassmen, but, paced it when, this is where it's supposed to pay the dividends. Any incoming freshmen that you know of? I know, tryouts don't start to next week and stuff, but any incoming freshmen?
One of the girls, actually a freshman sister of Kayla Jarolowitz, I think Shay Jarolowitz is going to step in and be able to help us out at the varsity level. she seems very strong technically. She's got good size for a freshman. She knows how to play the game. Just from conversation, I think her soccer IQ is pretty high. And the big thing for freshmen when they come in is being able to handle the physicality. And I think she's going to be able to handle that physicality.
Yeah, I find that's big because, soccer, unlike basketball, you're a freshman, you don't necessarily get on the field right away. Like, basketball, freshmen, it could end up playing. You got to be able to handle the physicality, and, there's always, upperclassmen, that are there that want it just as much. Where basketball, you see, if you get that superstar freshman, they're inserted right away, into the lineup. Now, talking about COVID, how did you handle, the 4 phases and, Manchester, because I know every coach handling it different. Did you find it hard to do that, or did Manchester because I know some schools, they said the AD made it pretty easy with them. How was handling the phases that the state laid out?
Yeah, it was definitely different. It's the perfect place to say it is what it is. Everyone had to make do what they could make do. And, it was, it let us focus a little bit more on the simple stuff, which was good to kind of go back to some of the technical stuff, really focus. Obviously phase 1 is supposed to be mostly conditioning, so you're going to get your kids nice and fit, and I think that type of stuff pays off in the long run anyway, because, you're not scrimmaging. You're going out there running whatever you're running with your little pod, and it kind of brought, maybe a new camaraderie with the groups, and, kind of suffering through it together that way. And so I hope that turns out to be a positive. But I had a Zoom meeting with the girls yesterday, letting them know that Monday we're gonna, we gotta get on the field and we're gonna go inter squad right away and kind of see, we have decisions to make, and it's gonna be weird and different.
When I talked to Coach Caruso, he said the same thing starting Monday, right into the games. He goes, they probably don't want to see me telling them we're doing drills. And he goes, I don't want to see drills anymore. He goes, I want, we need to see what they could do on the field, competitively. So, like you said, start making your decisions of, what you're going to do starting the season. Because, 2 weeks is all, it'll come up quick at the start of the season.
Nope. And we only get 1 scrimmage. Yeah. So,
speaking of scrimmage, we'll talk about your schedule a little bit. Who are the teams in your? I don't have the schedule in front of me, so I don't know the division, because I know the division's changed a little bit this season, right?
There was talk of change, and then we're pretty much staying a traditional B South. Borough, Liberty, Pinelands, Lacey, Lakewood, Donovan.
It's a couple good teams, Pinelands, Lacey. There's.
Yep. Borough, Liberty, Pinelands, strong coaches, Lacey, they're all, well-coached teams, get some players, I think Borough's lost some players to DA over the years. So, so I think that he'll get a little bit of help, and there'll be B South is, could be a bloodbath this year. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it seems, when I was looking at schedules, the only division that seemed a little weak to me was the St. Rose, St. Rose, Point Beach, and Trinity Hall. The other teams, traditionally aren't strong soccer-wise. But talking about the schedule, how do you feel about, you're playing, back to base, you're playing the same team back to back? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I can only speak to B South, but I know that, I'm sure every division has their own stuff, but B South has some pretty good rivalries. Some of the games on the girls' soccer field get pretty good. I've seen plenty of cards thrown. Especially when you're playing the teams back to back. Now, would we go 2 years where we only played our division once? And some of that kind of gets lost, but I think I think being able to play each other twice is much better for the divisions. I never thought we should have gone away from the division twice. My personal opinion.
When did they start that?
2 years ago, I believe they went to you're playing your division one time. So I think that made it a little bit harder. Took a little bit of pride out of the division. If you win your division playing everybody twice, I mean, if you got a tough division, you earned it.
Yeah.
If you win your division, unless you run away with it, but then you could have a three-way tie. I mean, I beat you, you beat me, she beats you, and you got a three-way tie playing everybody once. But B South it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good division to watch this year.
That's like basketball. They play twice in division, and the RBC St. Rose division. I think they tied, but I think Manasquan was only one game from a three-way tie, and I think like Rumson was only like 2 games or 3 games. Like they did. I know there was a point where I thought Manasquan, if they won one more game, it was going to be a three-way tie for and that's what you get when you're playing twice. That's what's going to happen.
And I mean, a lot of it came from the philosophy of for the states and prepping for the states and PowerPoints and
I don't get that at all. That's new since I started coming back to watching high school sports.
Yeah, it's there's a skill to picking your schedule, I guess, for sure. But for me, we'll play a full schedule. I mean, since I started, I mean, we're playing 19 to 23 games a year, playing. So, we're going to earn it or not earn it based on our performance. Some schools will play 14, 15 games, and that's enough for them. And that's what they do. That's what their coach, the philosophy, whatever. But for me, I'll play every team twice and then go find my 5 out of division games, 6 out of division games, hopefully make the short conference tournament, and kind of go with it that way.
How is the short conference tournament pick? Is it you got to be 500 at a certain point?
Yeah, you have to be 500 at the cutoff, and then there'll be a selection, a seeding meeting, and they put it together.
Okay. Yeah, that's how when I used to write for the paper, that's how it was. I didn't know if that changed or because states used to be the same way. You had to be 500. If you were 500 at a certain point, for states you made the playoffs.
Right.
Before we start wrapping up, what are some goals you think you're going to set for this upcoming season?
With the group that we have, the returning players, and that was just a big group of the seniors that we kind of went over. That's not even talking about like the Nicole Tremarchis, who've a 3-year starter, who I think is going to be a 3-year starter, who's got the potential to score a lot of goals, and the Mackenzie Plasics, who kind of hold down the middle of the field for us, defensive center mids. I mean, we got a lot of pieces that are going to be able to make us pretty competitive. So, I mean, a goal for us, we try to be pretty realistic, and I think we have a legitimate chance to win the division. And I think that whoever wins the division is definitely going to earn it this year in B South. Short conference tournament, some years you're like, not the year to make the short conference. If you squeak in there, and then you're going to get a Toms River North in the first round, and that'll be rough. But this year, I'll play anybody with this group. Obviously, whatever states there are realigned, however they're talking about redoing it. But for us, those are our 3 goals: win the division, make the short conference tournament, and see what we can do in a state run. But this group could go and shock some people. We're not far away from our first ever short conference win. We beat St. Rose and took Toms River North. They beat us 2-1, scored with like 84 seconds left.
Those are the tough ones.
They had like seven D1 kids, so we'll take that.
Tom's River always loaded. I'm gonna have Coach Miller on next week to preview his team. Do you think there's going to be a short conference tournament? I mean, I haven't heard no yet, so that's a plus.
Right. I'm just going with the until I hear no.
Yeah.
We're hoping for as normal as possible. You know, these kids deserve it. They want it. You know, as different as the summers were for these kids, they found ways to, you know, to meet and play, join the good sports, embrace the, you know, the time that they had together with the coaches, meet at the beach and play, you know, whatever they did. I mean, they found their ways to make this their season, so they deserve as normal as we can give them.
Yeah, and I give credit to the Shore. You know, they didn't pull the trigger early. You know, saying no. You know, they waited. You know, and luckily, knock on wood, New Jersey, you know, is in a good spot right now with the with infection and cases and stuff. And it's good to see that the districts that did, you know, like New Egypt canceling everything, you know, they reversed their decision. So, you know, that's good. And, you know, at least Shore had like a steady line where, you know, it looked like you guys were going to play the whole time where, you know, Steve had to go up and down, not playing, not playing. You know, I couldn't imagine what he I actually know what he was going through, but
right.
Yeah, he was funny. Because I texted him middle of July, and it was right before that Point Borough basketball league started. And I said, is there going to be a season in the fall? And he said 99% no. Then when I saw him 2 weeks later at a game, he said 99% yes. And then the following week was when New Egypt said no. New Egypt said no. So that guy. So, you know, just, you know, it's just good that, you know, these schools are letting these kids play, you know, especially, you know, seniors, you know, you don't want them missing out, you know. I know the spring seniors, you know, they say, oh, we missed out, so it's no big deal. But, you know, we got to be out there.
I know. They you know, they deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Coach, thank you. Thank you for joining me. And, you know, I look forward to definitely, you know, I promised Doug I would get to a game this season. So with the schedule, I don't know if it's going to make it difficult to get to a lot of different games or easier, you know, with basically the same teams are playing. So if I catch one game, you know, if I like two matchups, right, go to one day, and then 2 days later I could just go to the other.
Yep. It'll be an interesting schedule to watch.
Yeah. Now, real quick, is your division full? Or are you able to add an out of division game? Because I know there's one division. I talked to the coach. He had to add two out of division games.
Interruption at this time. AM vocational students, AM voc students only who did not pick up their Chromebook, please go to the hallway by the gym. That's AM voc only.
I hit the wrong mute button. I apologize.
It's all right.
Our division is full, but I do think that we're going to be able to pick up. I think they're talking about potentially one or two out of the division. If you don't make if there's not a short conference tournament or you don't make it, I think they'll be able to find one for you. And then scheduling wise, I think it goes, if you open up with Borough, we open up with Borough. If that first game gets rained out, you have to play it that week. Otherwise, that's gone.
Oh, man.
So
yeah.
If you lose a game due to a rain out, then I think you'll be able to pick something up on the back end as well.
Now, that makes sense what you said, too, about if there's no Shore, because I saw Eastern post on their Twitter looking to pick up 2 games the week of the 9th. So I'm guessing that means they're not going to have a conference tournament because the states start right after that. You know,
right.
So I'm guessing they're not going to have a conference tournament, so they're looking to pick up 2 games that week. So I guess that makes sense if there's no Shore tournament, you know, pick up 2 games to prep you for the states.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's rumor and hearsay. You know, some people are saying, you know, maybe not do a Shore, maybe do an Ocean County tournament, Monmouth County tournament. You know, kind of keep it a little bit tighter together. I'll just be happy to be playing soccer in a couple days.
Yeah, that's everybody's outlook. At least you're gonna be out there. You know, there's a season. You know, and
yes, sir.
Hopefully it goes the distance. Well, Coach, thanks for joining me. You know, I look forward to getting to winning games, you know, meeting you in person, and, you know, good luck this season.
Absolutely. I appreciate the offer to talk, and really appreciate the love on the girl sports side. Wish there was more.
Yeah, that's why I do it. Especially in the shore, girls sports. Top notch. And they don't cover it.
Nope.
I know the media outlets are spread thin. But it irked me last year. No offense to Shore Sports Network, but they didn't show up to a girls soccer game until the semis of the Shore Conference. There was not one article, and they were covering the boys. So I know that they're thin. It's pretty much only Matt that goes to all the games for that, and in AP basically there's only two guys. There's two guys, and the one's covering girls soccer and field hockey, so you can't be at two things at once.
Right.
So, it's tough. So, look, media is in my background. I love doing it. I love soccer. I love basketball. That's why there's only two sports I do, because I could talk smart, I'm educated on those two sports. I know what I'm talking about.
Well, listen, we appreciate it. Wish there was more of it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll see you on the soccer field.
Yes, sir.